For the first time in IORA Cup Series history, the streets of Chicago are on full display. The Grant Park Grand Prix begins in just under 2 minutes. Qualifying still on the move. 13 drivers have taken time, with Sean Conklin the fastest man on the board by 0.4 of a second. Great to have y'all watching here in Chicago. This is the first ever street course event we've had here in the IORA Cup Series. Of course, we've seen previously the Long Beach street course in peripheral competition like the IORA F1 Series and the Indycar Series, but tonight we get to do things different with the IORA Cup cars. Next Gens come alive once again here in Chicago for the very first time. Great to have you all watching live on FTN for this doubleheader of action. I'm hosting all of tonight's racing, both the IORA Cup Series and the Highline Racing League as well. David Croyd's going to be leading you through all the fun throughout all tonight's action, and it's going to be totally worth the show. 40 laps of action here in Grant Park. Then we go to Indianapolis for 60 more laps. So keep that in mind. 100 great laps of racing from start to finish. It's going to be unpredictable action no matter where you look. Now, Brandon Dugan's the only man on the track right now getting some extra time in. He's just going to be taking it through slowly but surely. Here in Chicago, very minimal room for error. As you might have seen already, these drivers are working with concrete and cement. There's no extra space to go, no extra track width you can utilize or take to your advantage. You got one set way to go about this track, and that is it. So deal with it or suffer the consequences. That's effectively the way things are going to go tonight. And Brandon Dugan limping around one more time with qualifying already effectively concluded. Going to be the number 54 machine of Sean Conklin, once again the fastest man on the tour, quickest here in pole position in Chicago. And with the checkered flag falling just like that, the starting grid ready to be set. The Chicago street course going to be used for the very first time here in the IORA Cup Series, as we mentioned before. As we take a look around this beautiful city for the very first time, a chance to see many drivers making it onto the field. This street course is going to be a lot of exciting racing from start to finish. And right now, Joseph Armstrong, one of the many drivers to keep in mind. We're getting a look at the grid right now as they all begin to register for the first time. Looking throughout, Henry Kaloff also going to be on the track, although our TV cameras giving us a bit of trouble until now. There you have it, the field on your screen. And without further ado, before things get started here in Chicago, how's about we find out who starts where on your starting grid for the Grant Park Grand Prix. Up at the front of the field right now, your front runners are going to be not on the display, but you do see the number 87 machine on timing and scoring is the fastest man. It's going to be Sean Conklin and Daniel Mosteller. Mosteller fastest on the outside line, and Sean Conklin overall pole sitter. Conklin takes it with a 126.899, and for Daniel Mosteller to 127.307 for the man who rounds out the front row. Then from there, you're going to see Joseph Armstrong position number 3 and Chase Schaefer in 4th, separated by just 0.2 of a second. It's a 127.527 for Armstrong and 127.758 for the man who starts in 4th, Chase Schaefer in the number 99. Then from there, you're also going to see James Thurston position number 5. River Page is going to be then in 6th, and 7th place is going to be occupied by Jacob Wilkerson with a 128.674, right beside Michael Cormetis and the returning number 25. Cormetis going to be in 8th place, and it's going to be then from there Braxton and Whitaker position number 9, and Whitaker coinciding with Henry Kaloff as they'll be the final drivers inside your top 10. However, the spread between the 1st and 10th driver in qualifying is 6 seconds on a flying lap. So then from there, Brandon Dugan with a 1 minute and 34 second flyer is going to be 11th. And Michael Deitch will round out the top dozen with a number 57 machine in the 12th position, 1 minute 41.068. Final driver to take a time is going to be Gabriel Goldie in the 05. Goldie rounds out the Baker's dozen inside of row 7, as Will Shack is the first driver not to take a time lap. He'll be starting 14 when we get going here tonight. TJ Hanley going to be position number 15, and 15th place is occupied by a returning driver. And for Oliver Quinney, after having some strong pace at Watkins Glen, no qualifying effort to back it up, he'll hope to get it further up in the field as the night goes on. Starting tonight in 16th. It's then going to be Alexander Schumacher making his debut of the SRL Cup Series. The number 68 comes to play, and Schumacher will start 18th with Landon Gentry 18th on the order inside of row 9. It's going to be Schumacher outside, goes to Gentry, and just like that, nobody else on the grid. It's 9 rows of racing and race control led by Mason Moriarty as the green flag set to fly here in Chicago. And now we get on the move here in Grant Park. As we look right now at your field, they're going to be coming through and pacing as we speak. You'll see Sean Conklin, Daniel Mosteller, Joseph Armstrong all making their way around the iRacing official pace car on the move, leading the drivers through a visibly simplistic track. But don't let that fool you. It might be a simplistic nature in terms of its geometry, but this track is anything but easy because the limit, the margin for error that is, absolutely small as they can get. One wrong move, one slide deep into a corner, and you're going to be out of luck for the rest of the day. Now, no fast repairs in the IORA Cup Series is not the situation to play. One fast repair, but still marginal room for error, not only in terms of where you go on the track, but what you can do after you make that slip up. The pace car is going to come around the McDonald's bend this time by and let Sean Conklin, who's been the best driver all season long, once again lead the field. It's going to be Mosteller right there beside him, and Joseph Armstrong third, with Chase Schaefer position number 4, and 5th being James Thurston. So in your top 5, 2 champions of the IORA Cup Series and your points leader there as well, as it's going to be one more hard right turn for the iRacing official pace car. Time to get things going in the Grant Park Grand Prix. The green flag flies and we're underway from the Chicago Street Course. For the most part, drivers going to be able to make it past the first minute of racing without many major issues. Sean Conklin leads for Mosteller, Chase Schaefer grabs third, and with the top 2 race away, the rest of the field going to be mired back in traffic here, albeit a lot of drivers fading back on natural pace. Gabriel Goldie going to go sliding around. He's going backwards, and he's going to spin it back. Brandon Dugan gets away as well, but the Flow Racing 05 finds trouble and hits the wall once again. Goldie's already going to be having issues. Up in front, Brandon Dugan got away from that one. Alexander Schumacher's now going to be fighting with Braxton Whitaker, and as they come through, you'll see McDonald's branding all around. Number 68 machine going to be making it through in what looks to be a Chad Little throwback as one driver goes to pit road. TJ Hanley slides back of the field, not having the best of times so far. The front runners get away quite cleanly. Sean Conklin ahead of Daniel Mosteller with Chase Schaefer third, Joseph Armstrong 4th, and River Page 5th. Then James Thurston position number 6. You might have noticed something as we take a look at all the cameras here tonight. There's a lot of ease on the braking markers, and the reason is this track, like the new Atlanta Motor Speedway, developed in iRacing originally for use in eNASCAR competition. The eNASCAR Pro Invitational, which ran from 2020 to 2021, was the first series to ever test out this circuit, and even though it was only seen in the virtual realm in its inception, it went on to of course be used this year in the NASCAR Cup Series. Shane Van Gisbergen having a fantastic race there and coming home unexpectedly winning in his series debut. Now, Sean Conklin, this is not his first race, but he's already got a good margin, a healthy one of about 2 seconds. Schaefer's going to be third. Joseph Armstrong's going to be fourth. And as the drivers come down the catch fence once again, the Interstate Batteries number 22 is going to be now just beyond the podium. River Page is going to be fifth. James Thurston is sixth. And Michael Cormetis is position number 7 as the come around this time by 2 laps in, heading to 3. Conklin's already got him through, and he continues to stretch that gap as the back of the field keeps on fighting. 2 of the TJ Hanley machines. Of course, TJ himself now fighting with Brandon Dugan, and Dugan's going to be working his boss over. 08 machine, of course, the TJ Hanley leading the battle for now. This is for 14th. Right on board with Brandon Dugan and see what's going on. Hammering it down corner after corner, all 90-degree turns here in Chicago, so you got to make sure you get through that entry and exit just right. It's not as much about working the apex, working the banking, because you really have nothing besides the natural ups and downs of the elevation on these roads. You just got to hit that apex in the middle. There's nothing special to it. It's going to be sweeping straightaways here, and you'll see them sliding through speeds over 125 miles an hour before that braking zone, and managing the elevation, although minimal, is as key as it can be, as Brandon Dugan's going to hit the wall that time by. Not what you want to do, but battles are still fierce all around the track right now. Here's one in particular. It's Braxton Whitaker fighting with Oliver Quinney and Michael Deitch. Deitch is going to be there in the 10th spot, and it's going to be Oliver Quinney in the 11th. Quinney bangs the wall, and he's going to give Braxton Whitaker a shot to get right there. Now it's going to be Whitaker on the tail of this number 73 machine, and Oliver Quinney continues to keep it moving, however, still with some issues. And it's going to be damage that slowly but surely becomes more noticeable as the race goes on. Michael Deitch going to miss the corner entirely, though, and as he locks up, Deitch gets going once again. Big reverse there, and you're going to see there's an access road for drivers who miss corners, but that's going to be a big momentum killer, as it's going to be Deitch fading back big. James Thurston loses a spot that time by. River Page is going to jump up to 5th, and for James Thurston, heartbreak last night. It was a win-and-you're-in scenario when it comes to his win at Watkins Glen. He could have had it, led 35-plus laps, but it came down to Andrew Cootie sliding through in the final moments of the race, and he came home as the winner as opposed to James Thurston. Now, Thurston is out of the FORL Cup Series playoffs. A disaster start for him, as he was expected to be a Final Four contender, given how well he run at the Glen. Almost seemed like it would be a guarantee he'd get the win, but that did not play out. And as such, James Thurston alone to fight in the IORA Cup Series instead. He's already an IORA Cup Series champion, getting it done in Season 3. He'd love to go for back-to-back to mimic our man in second, Daniel Mosteller. Demos finds himself position number 2 right now, and 4 laps in, continues to fight up in front, although Chase Schaefer slowly but surely clawing back in to the picture up ahead. And as the front runners continue to make time, it looks like the majority of the field able to get things going clean and green, which we love to see. You'll see the battle here between Brandon Dugan and TJ Hanley continues, not to mention Alexander Schumacher and Braxton Whitaker still going at it. And Alexander Schumacher, as we mentioned, making his IORA debut here in the Chicago Street Course. The Bundren Lawn Care number 68 coming through for the first time, not on a Monday night here in FTN, and looking to run up in the front of the field. Top 10 would be a great run for this team in their first ever race. However, of course, there's guarantees that Schumacher is going for just a bit more here as he's fighting himself in comfortable territory. These next-gen stock cars, he's driven them quite a lot throughout 2023 and knows how to work them. So right now, getting his bearings in with the field, understanding who he can race with, who he can't, what he's got to do around these drivers, and as the driver continues to learn what must be done with their, of course, rivals in the field, then they'll be able to develop that much more. Development as a driver is an especially important concept here, especially indeed when you look at guys like Schumacher, who's a rookie tonight in his very first race. A lot of rookies this season. Gabriel Goldie is going to be 18th. He comes down to pit road this time by, and Gabriel has struggled so far today, so it's a given he'll come down to pit road this time through. It's going to be his second time around in the pit road. Landon Gentry's been struggling, and looks like now he's going to be finding himself in 16th, getting just by Will Shack, and the number 33 machine makes a spot back up with Brandon Dugan finding himself rounding at the top 15. TJ Hanley is going to be in trouble, though. The access road is not going to treat him kindly, and even though he had a major advantage over his teammate, it's now going to be Dugan with some major damage clawing him back down. So the back of the field giving us some fun battles as Gentry's going to spin. Landon goes around sliding 360s, goes down to pit road, and he will decide to take it down there and immediately tow. Trouble so so far for Landon Gentry, but he's going to be able to get back on a pit road very quickly. It's going to cost him, though, eventually, because he has to get the towing penalty, which will be in excess of 2 minutes, given how far he went on the track. 54 machinist Sean Conklin remains the man at the top of the board so far. He's got a 3.6-second lead, and Daniel Mosteller is there in second. Schaefer's third, Joseph Armstrong is fourth, and River Page is in fifth. Top five as it stands, with James Thurston still just a second back. And as your front runners continue to pull away here, James Thurston is right behind River Page. These two drivers swapping positions early. Since then, River able to get a bit of a jump on this number 4 machine, although that time by he was about half a second slower than that of the number 4 behind him. For Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports, James Thurston, no slouch at a road course, and he's going to show it once again. He had a bit of a slip up early, but now he's got a chance to claw back River Page on natural pace. Doesn't have to run his equipment too hard to be much quicker than most of the field. He's got an expertise and a knack for these sorts of races, and he's putting it into play once again. The discipline on a road course for many drivers is not like the one that James Thurston's been able to wield as a driver, and that's one of his big keys to success. Winning in a race doesn't come down not only to being the fastest driver, it also comes down to having that strategy and that discipline. At the line, Michael Cormetis takes it up for 7th as he continues to fight with Jacob Wilkerson, and Wilkerson this time by is going to be racing as a substitute for Sean Rowe. PBR is going to see Jacob Wilkerson in as Sean Rowe today, so while Wilkerson's going to be the man on your screen, he opts to forfeit his campaign, so to speak, and instead assist Sean Rowe as he continues to work for his own pursuits up in the championship picture. Wilkerson right now finds himself in 8th. He's been one of the best drivers all season long in the FORL Cup Series and comes once again with a beat and a bang, and that's going to be some big trouble as he continues to attempt chasing down Michael Cormetis. Some trouble right now for the High Rock Vodka Toyota Camry, but nothing major right now. Michael Cormetis is still 7th as Thurston bangs the wall once again, and pounding that wall gives River Page just a bit more leeway, 1.4 seconds when they come through once again. So now River Page going to be even more successfully gaining time on Thurston. Going to be a battle that continues to shrink in terms of its relevance. Right now, the biggest battle is between these 3 drivers still. Alexander Schumacher got by Braxton Whitaker. Up next on the agenda will be Oliver Quinney, if possible. And now looking to get Oliver as the next man down of another spot. This will be the battle for 10th place as Oliver has that spot and is having some trouble holding on to it. Number 73 of Oliver Quinney there. He's going to go way wide once again, trying to defend his spot into the apex of every corner. And despite some clear damage and some clear slowdowns, he's got himself working it each and every time around. Beats and bangs with the wall. Once again, bounces off the track and hits the wall again. Continues to use the wall, and even though he's making a lot of hits on that car, it has worked, at least for the time being. Now, no stopping this number 73 of Oliver Quinney. He keeps on fighting, but the wall is going to continue hitting him right back. He's pounding the wall almost every turn right now, and Alexander Schumacher's got to be wondering, when does he give? Locks up the tires, and Schumacher continues to chase him. Right on board now with Alexander Schumacher as they now dive deep into the first right-hander. And as you see, Oliver Quinney's going to be destroyed. Absolutely going to get everything lost. Front end beaten, banged, and just like that, going to be putting it back in reverse to get things going. Once again, Brandon Dugan goes by, and it's going to be a track blocker, and this brings out the caution. Oliver Quinney can't get things going, brings out the yellow flag, and just like that, caution is out for the first time today as Oliver Quinney brings out the yellow, blocking the track here in Chicago. And as you see, he's going to pummel the wall, trying to keep it ahead of Alexander Schumacher and Braxton Whitaker. That's, of course, what first leads to the caution. But then you see what happens here as he continues to stay in the middle of the track, does not go down a pit road, and Brandon Dugan gets caught. When Dugan's involved in it, that's when it becomes a yellow flag scenario. Multiple cars going to be stopped on the track. Michael Deitch has to get going. Yellow flag is called for the first time today. 9 laps in a 40, and that's going to be the yellow flag here. No other contact. That brings that number 73 into the wall. But he's going to end up making contact with Brandon Dugan. Quinney's now going to be on pit road. Sean Conklin leads the way, and 9 laps in, under caution for the first time here in Chicago. Once again, under pacing, but this time it's for a yellow flag. It's Conklin, Mosteller, Chase Schaefer. That is your top 3 as it stands. Yellow flag going to be out this time by for the first time today. It's going to be 9 laps in out of 40, having a good strong run. And as always, lap 9 here in FTN, presented to you by our friends at Tango Paints. For high quality iRacing paint schemes and liveries that you can't beat, a price you can't beat as well, check out Tango Paints for all the latest information about iRacing's best paint scheme designers. Be it sim racing in the stock car realm, open wheels, endurance, whatever you need, they have. And Tango Paints will have you covered. Check out Tango Paints on Twitter. It's spelled as you see in the top left of your screen, so check them out today. No spaces, no other interruptions. It's Tango Paints, and we'd love to have you there supporting the official graphic design partner of FTN Live. We'll be right back after a brief promotional message courtesy of our friends Toll Owen and Tango Paints. Coming back now, lap 9 out of 40. So far, so good until our first yellow flag of the day. Oliver Quinney making contact with Brandon Dugan. Track blocking yellow. That's what brings out the caution for the first time here in the Grant Park Grand Prix. If you're joining us for the first time tonight, this is the Chicago Street Course, and the Grant Park Grand Prix now sees its first pit run. Leader Sean Conklin takes the good majority of the field down and in this time by, and as they all come through, pace car still out on the track, going to leave Brandon Dugan there, and the 16th place driver going to jump up to the head of the field here as he hopes to get a lap back. Even though he's going to be the only driver still going, he is not going to be racing with the leaders now. Race off pit road is going to be more important here, as it's going to be Daniel Mosteller missing his stall, having to back up, and Conklin gets out quick. Then Chase Schaefer, Joe Armstrong, River Page, Michael Hormetis, and Mosteller is at a major loss. Just like that, Demos is going to fade back from the runner-up spot all the way down to what looks to be not 7th, not 8th, but instead, if he gets out this time by, it could be 9th. Still some drivers waiting right now on their pit run. Looks like it's going to be Wilkerson also on the track, Braxton Whitaker, and Michael Deichster on the track, but on pit road, and Daniel Mosteller stays there after some troubles getting in. Now, pit road getting busy now. It's going to be Sean Conklin and Chase Schaefer leading once again. 10 laps into the 40, hitting the double digits for the first time tonight. Now, the first laps of this one on the way. Conklin already being dominant once more. He continues his charge for a race win after race win. Last time we went to a road course, Sean Conklin came through as the man who got that checkered flag. And number 54, Conklin, looking once again to do so and perhaps go for a sweep of the road courses this year. He'd love to, of course, go back for another victory and extend his points lead. He's been the non-stop man so far in terms of the IORA Cup Series, and he hopes to keep it that way. With all he's done so far, no reason to suggest that he can. Chase Schaefer going to be second, Joe Armstrong third, and River Page, position number 4. Michael Hormetis is 5th, and it's going to be Henry Kaloff 6th, with Thurston 7th, Alexander Schumacher 8th, Will Shack 9th, and Jacob Wilkerson then in 10th. Now drivers get back on the way, and it's going to be Daniel Mosteller all the way down to the 12th now, and it looks like he's fading back big time with a 2-minute run down a pit road. So going to be huge losses there for Demos. Going to be trying a different strategy here as he comes down to pit road, going to lose all that time, and hopefully it comes back to help him in the long run. And that's going to be the end goal right now for Mosteller in the number 87 as they come through once again under pacing. Set to go back green at lap 12, and we're happy to get back going. Green flag racing here in Chicago, delayed for the first time today. It's Conklin, Chase Schaefer, Joseph Armstrong. That's your 1, 2, 3 as it stands, and we'll come around one more time and get the signal to go one lap till the green as the pace car comes through once again. Lights are still flashing. Conklin goes way high, and he will determine where the drivers go, of course, as the leading man. Now Schaefer goes low, then it's going to be Armstrong bottom. It's an up-down cycle. Drivers already on the way. Landon Gentry, first retiree of the day. TJ Hanley going to be given an end-of-the-line penalty as a result of the incident, including what happened in the yellow flag. And just like that, the caution going to fly 11 laps in, and we set to go back racing at lap 12. And with the dominance so far of Sean Conklin, the question really is whether or not anyone can make a time for the race lead. I mean, so far, his best lap, a 126.59, unmatched by anyone else in the field. A matter of fact, even looking back at someone like Daniel Mosteller, the only other driver in the 126 range, his best lap is 0.3 of a second behind Conklin's number 54. That's how good Sean Conklin has been, and he hopes to keep it that way as he stays out in front. The Ryco Performance, number 54, leads the way with Chase Schaefer then second and Joseph Armstrong in third. Yellow flag is out, as we mentioned, for the first time today, and now the drivers get a chance to regroup and go back at it once more. Getting closer and closer to the halfway marker at around, of course, a lap 20. And then, crunch time going to settle in. Drivers going to have to understand what they do for the rest of the night, and it really becomes do or die action up in front of the field. And even though Sean Conklin has so much pace, it might not go his way when all is said and done. As we saw last night for James Thurston, he was the fastest man by far in the FORL Cup Series race at Watkins Glen, and wasn't able to get it done for the victory as a result of a late race shenanigans and a restart where Andrew Cootie found his way down low and got that win, sneaking it through the first few corners in the Glen. And by the time they went down to the bus stop, the number 9 was out in front, and that was all she wrote. Now, Conklin's going to lead him in this time by, as you'll see, the restart zone going to be put into effect just before we get to the start-finish line. It's going to be the McDonald's banners that signify where our restart zone is. So that's what we're going to be looking at for when these drivers get going. We do have a restart zone tonight, and the drivers understand that as well. So they'll get the jump just a few hundred feet before the start-finish line. They'll make it down very soon. It'll be time to go back racing, and Conklin, Schaefer, and Page are your podium lined up to do it once again. iRacing official pace car is ahead right now, and the field is lagging back, getting ready to get that run out of the final corners and get going here in Chicago. The Grant Park Grand Prix, 11 laps in, set for the first restart of the day. Drivers get going through the McDonald's signage, and just like that, Sean Conklin is back on the move, and it's going to be one driver in the wall. Henry Kaloff, rest of the field gets going. Green flags out, led once again by Conklin. As Sean Conklin gets things going, Alexander Schumacher is going to fight now with James Thurston. Schumy's going to get it in 6, and just like that, Alexander Schumacher makes it up there and is going to take it through the first of the Sweetman straightaways here. Now, braking zone is going to be put into effect, and it's going to be Schumacher taking it, but Michael Cormetis now in 5th, and Chase Schaefer all of a sudden hounding Sean Conklin for that race lead. All drivers up in the front of the field are on the same set of tires, so no major advantage there. The big advantage will be whether or not you're a faster driver than the next man, and multiple drivers going to beat and bang the wall. Sean Conklin gets away from it, but Schaefer, Armstrong, River Page all fail to do so. So it's going to be trouble there. It's going to be Page coming around. He's in 4th. Michael Cormetis is 5th. Alexander Schumacher is 6th, and James Thurston is then in 7th. The Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports number 4 machine stays back bumper to Schumacher, and they're going to be squealing the tire each and every time around, and you'll see how close these guys can get in the corner without making contact. Schumacher doing a great job, of course, getting it by Thurston right now, the highest that Schumy's run all race long, but Thurston far from done, and you know when they come across the start-finish line, he'll get that draft and hope to keep things going, maybe send it deep to make up some time. First corner is going to be some trouble with some smoke up ahead, and that's going to be one driver. It's going to be River Page. Joseph Armstrong goes way wide, and as a result, multiple drivers fade back, and it's going to be a big shuffle now, as just like that, Schumacher is going to be in the 3rd position, and Thurston's going to get destroyed. James Thurston with some trouble. He's going to tag Mosteller. Caution flies again. Yellow is out once more as the caution flies again in Chicago. James Thurston catches the tire barrier and brings out the yellow once again. Yellow flag is out once more, this time for the 2nd occurrence of the night. James Thurston is fighting now with Schumacher, not to mention Armstrong and Jacob Wilkerson. River Page, too, tries to find room, goes up to the 2nd groove and gets pushed into the tire barrier. No room for anyone there, so nothing more that could be done. Racing incident, it captures Daniel Mosteller too, and just like that, your 2 former series champions are caught up in the same wreck, and the yellow flag flies 13 laps in, so some trouble early as you'll see another set of competitive drivers get caught up in the action. John Conklin leads the way. Schaefer's going to be second right now. Michael Cormetis is going to be third, and Alexander Schumacher's in fourth. As they all get grouped up once again, 13 laps in at a 40, second caution, and Sean Conklin set to get back with your race-leading pace car. Pace car going to set us back up in session for what will be the second restart of the day. And the pace car going to be flying around the corner just beyond the reach of the drivers here. 14 laps in at a 40. It's going to be Conklin leading, Chase Schaefer second, Michael Cormetis third, and Alexander Schumacher position number 4. Rounding out the top 5 is River Page, and then it's going to be Jacob Wilkerson in 6th, Michael Deitch 7th, and then Braxton Whitaker in 8th. They run that way so far, so good. Joseph Armstrong going to have some trouble and disconnect as well. Another driver out of the session. A few drivers already facing connection issues on the day. Going to be once again lining up side by side your leaders of Conklin and now River Page. As River gets back up there despite losing a lot of time, he knows he's still got a lot of pace to be up there for the win, but has to avoid some mistakes all throughout the night. Schaefer is going to be second right now overall, and it's going to be Michael Cormetis who's in third. And Cormetis able to slide by and find himself in the podium fight as a result of avoiding that major incident. Oliver Quinney goes around to get his laps back, 14 laps in. And with Oliver going around, once again, pace car is out. Sean Conklin, Chase Schaefer, Michael Cormetis. First, second, and third. Pit road not as busy as before, and a few drivers still there. It's going to be, of course, Will Shack you see in your frame, not to mention Brandon Dugan also coming in. Joseph Armstrong came down to pit road, but he's only going to choose to go down there and park it for the night. So his race is going to be done. However, for Dugan and Will Shack, they instead are going to be down on pit road just to make sure they can get back out there and keep it rolling for the rest of the day. 14 laps in out of 40, and it's going to be Conklin once again advantageous. Should be set up to go back racing at lap 16. So our second caution so far. A few yellow flags interrupting what's been some good racing up in front, but just a lot of trouble keeping it green, which has been the biggest problem to this point. And that's the problem, of course, about a very narrow racing circuit. Some tracks you can get away from issues like 360 spins. Here, not so much. And as a result, yellow flag has come out not once, but twice for very similar problems. Now, Michael Cormetis is having some connection issues, and once again, he has a bit of a blink out here. You'll see Michael Cormetis is supposed to be third, but at times your top 3 will say that it's Alexander Schumacher there. So hopefully Cormetis able to stay with him in terms of connection, and it looks like he should be able to do it right now, as it's going to be Wilkerson, Braxton Whitaker, Daniel Mosteller down to pit road, this time by, and the leaders come through, set to go now with 2 laps to green. And the thing about caution laps here at Chicago, they are especially long, so drivers come in once again. Pit road going to get busy. Back of the field, you'll see Henry Kaloff is in. TJ Hanley going to make it through. Gabriel Goli once again. Only 2 drivers retired to this point. Will Shack is going to be in the middle of both of them. Shack has scored 17th, but Joseph Armstrong in 16th and Landon Gentry in 18th are both retired. So 15 laps in out of 40. We've got 2 men out of this race. Rest of your field keeps on going through, and 15 laps in, Conklin is your leader. Chase Schaefer still the runner-up man, and third place is there in Michael Cormetis. That's the podium as it stands, and it's going to keep it that way as we keep it side by side under pacing for the second instance of the night. Now, hopefully, we'll be able to get the rest of this race with more green on the track. Now, we've seen some great racing at road courses so far. Watkins Glen in particular had a lot of fantastic racing till the end. Conklin knows a thing or two about winning, even amidst the calamity. Tonight, in this, of course, event, he has not had to deal with any of that leading every lap so far. However, if things change, he could find himself in the midst of the pack, and Chase Schaefer was close that time by and got himself even quicker than before. 1:26.934 was Schaefer's fastest, and it came while he was chasing down Sean Conklin. So maybe a potential for the number 99, even though Sean Conklin is now setting his best laps. The most recent time by under green was a 1:26.302. Chase Schaefer getting quicker in his own right, so it could be the number 99 machine fighting for the win if all goes to plan for Schaefer and the Monster Designs crew. 15 laps in, that's the way they run, and now James Thurston going to be all the way back in 15th as he tries to make it back. He gets by Oliver Quinney and continues to rush back with the field as the number 4 is flying to get with the leaders before our choose rule is put into effect once again. And now the pace car gets rolling through one final sector before we get back to, of course, where it all begins, the start-finish line. I'll tell you this much, under caution once more, so how we fire up our drone camera and get things going and roll around with your drivers. It's, of course, the Chicago street course here in Grant Park. Get things moving. We're moving about just as quick, if not a little quicker, than your drivers just below us. Drone shot's going to see the track is barriered off. There's got the barricades with the tires and all, and pit road, the racing lake, all going to be created through the street roads here in Chicago. People in Grant Park's not going to be able to watch it from this angle. They're right there in the scenery of the track all the same. And now the choose rule getting put in play. Looks like it's going to be Conklin working down low. Chase Schaefer opts to follow him. Michael Cormettis going to be right there too. See how perpendicular this track is. An intersection with multiple turns. One's going to be a left-hander and the other going to be left, but just the other way. And all these 90-degree angles are making up the full circuit, almost like a figure 8 from the outside perspective. Drivers don't have a bridge to cross over, so they instead have to deal with working around the natural constrictions of Chicago traffic. The outside of the pavement here, very similar in terms of its style compared to the racing surface on iRacing, just a different level of detail. Come back in, watching the drivers make it around. These are some of the most intense of the racing circuit. You're able to swoop around straightaway and a curve mixed into one. Michael Cormettis going to make it through, and as you see, the Pro Invitational banner right with our first of the escape routes. And if you miss a corner, you got a bit more room there. Not so much here, so that's why hitting the tire barrier will really bring the big one out, even if you don't mean to. That's the way it will go. Longer straightaway here once again, which brings you back to the same intersection once more. The beautiful Chicago skyline just in front of this track. Well, the drivers might be sightseeing for a brief moment, then they get back into focus and keep things through and come through once again for the second half of the track. When you come down through the second portion, as you get back to that same intersection where the start-finish line is, you have to make sure you get through the first left-hander and get on the way here. So there's going to be a bridge that takes it right over, and it's going to be a set of railway tracks, and while they might not be seen here in iRacing in full, they are there in reality. One more time around, you got a right-hander, and the Xfinity Mobile barriers are going to be all throughout. And these barriers, as visible as they are, can be a bit of a distraction with all the colors. Now time to get set for your restart zone very, very soon. The drivers come around once again here as they get anticipated once more for another restart of action. Just like that, the field gets set to rumble 16 laps in at a 40. It's going to be lap 17 for our second restart of the day. Sean Conklin, the man who leads it here, come across the McDonald's signage. This is your restart zone. And Conklin, getting the call to go whenever he pleases, now gets them rolling. This time by, it's going to be all about this final descent, which gets the drivers in motion. They come through 16 in at a 40. Sean Conklin right down low gets the jump and gets things on the move. Green flag flies. 16 laps in, underway with Sean Conklin leading. Drivers shuffling up with the wall there. No major issues. It's going to be Brandon Dugan getting tagged. Not to mention Gabriel Goldie nearly going around. But all is well as they get back going once again. Sean Conklin leads the way. 40 laps on the table. He's gone through 17 so far. And having the lead nearly halfway through has been the big advantage for him as Chase Schaefer runs then in second. Right side damage for Schaefer getting more evident than that of Michael Cormettis. And now River Page is in fourth. As Micah goes way loose that time by, very close to trouble. Luckily keeps things going as flying down the straightaway. You'll see green flag is still in the air. No caution going to be thrown at least so far. And River drops down to the bottom, takes that spot from Mikey. Very close to the wall there. There's going to be multiple drivers beating and banging once again. Michael Deitch hits the wall, not to mention Jacob Wilkerson, and Deitch continues to grow and collect that damage as the racing continues here. And now Sean Conklin's going to see a load of Chase Schaefer right behind. Schaefer looking to find himself in victory lane, and so far this number 99 machine not letting off. Looking faster and faster each time around. Chase Schaefer still there, and Conklin facing the heat as the number 99 machine comes around with your leading man. It's going to be Conklin at the stripe, still advantageous, but 18 laps into the 40, nothing major. So it's going to be a gap of only about 0.3 of a second at the most, and Schaefer lies right behind your leading driver, with Page then third, Michael Cormenis fourth, and Daniel Mosteller in fifth. Alexander Schumacher is going to be sixth, and James Thurston is in seventh here. Wilkerson eighth, Henry Kaloff ninth, and Oliver Quinney in 10th as Braxton Whitaker goes around. Solo car incident, so nothing else comes of it, as only one man goes spinning. It's going to be Braxton Whitaker. Michael Deitch, Will Shack, both disconnecting. They've got trouble. Only 14 cars left on the field as attrition coming into play in the middle stages of this race. So some drivers not going to be able to hang around as they go through. Conklin leading right now, hoping to keep things ahead of Chase Schaefer, and he's going to be occupied big time now as Chase stays right there on the rear. Schaefer going to be second, River Payne's going to be third, Daniel Osteller going to be fourth, and Michael Cormenis position number 5. Alexander Schumacher is going to be sixth right now, and for Schumi, not at all a bad debut in terms of his run for the first time here in the IORA Cup Series. Hailing from the Schumacher Racing League, he finds himself up in front with 23 laps to go, chasing down Michael Cormenis for a top 5, and as the drivers coming around this time behind your start-finish line, as always, an FTN with 22 laps to go. We crank it up with the best cameras on the iRacing market, TrackCams22.com, providing our high-quality onboard cameras for tonight's broadcast. We thank them dearly and hope you check out TrackCams22.com or TrackCams on Facebook to find out more information about iRacing's leading camera software. Cranking it up with 22 laps to go uninterrupted on an FTN, courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. And coming through that now with 19 laps to go, Chase Schaefer scored as your leader. And you might have seen it there, Sean Conklin having some connection issues, and it looks like he's going to blink out of the lobby, at least for now. Now, hopefully that's going to be temporary, as right now Conklin no longer on our screen. But the number 99 machine, the big beneficiary, is now Chase Schaefer's got the advantage by just under 3 seconds. Schaefer, your new man, up in front of the field with 19 laps to go as a result of that motion, as it's now going to be the Grant Park Grand Prix led by the Monster Designs, number 99. Chase Schaefer leads the way right now in Chicago. 18 laps to go, as a matter of fact, and it's Daniel Mosteller then in second, River Page in third, and fourth place held by James Thurston. And Conklin with no update right now. Looks like he's going to have a disconnection almost for certain here as he continues to fall back on our timing ladder. I don't think there's any other explanation as it stands, which is very unfortunate for the man who's led every lap to this point except for now. And just like that, Chase Schaefer, the Moon Man, on the top of the board. Conklin losing all that time is going to be due to an official connection loss. It looks like he's going to lose his internet, and it's going to come back to cost him. He had such a great chance at winning tonight, had it up in front almost every race of the season so far, and now this might be the lowest finish he's had all throughout the year. A 14th place finish, and Conklin finds himself now in huge trouble. Chase Schaefer leads the way with Daniel Mosteller then second, and River Page in third, as James Thurston's now fourth, and Michael Cormetis is in fifth. 18 laps to go, and a huge shuffle at the head of the field. It's going to be now no Sean Conklin ahead, and Chase Schaefer going to be the man out in front, and Schaefer chasing victory lane once more. And one thing to remember, of course, your defending winner in Chase Schaefer finds himself up ahead once again. And all of a sudden, Schaefer coming alive in terms of the championship battle. He might be able to find himself as a man with a crooked number of victories, as it could be his second in 2 races. Alexander Schumacher disconnects from the session 2. Now that only leaves us with 12 drivers on the track and 17 laps to go. So I'll tell you this much, we're having drivers slowly but surely trickle off the field. Schumacher with trouble immediately disconnects, and more drivers are fading away, as you'll see now Henry Caloff and TJ Hanley, they're in trouble right now, might be in jeopardy of being lapped, only about 10 seconds away from your leader. As you'll see, Chase Schaefer comes through, and he's gonna tie it up like a shoelace and make it around once again up in front. Now the advantage right now goes to Daniel Mosteller in terms of speed, as that time by Mosteller was quicker by just about a second. It was a 1:26.147 and a 1:26.4 for Daniel Mosteller, getting closer and closer to 1 second gain each and every time around. And if Sean Conklin won't win, we might just see this man, the 87 of Daniel Mosteller, come through when it matters. And Mosteller looking for another chance at race victory. And just like that, it's going to be Demos making around 17 laps to go. How about we ride on board right now to your second place driver, catching your man up in front. And as you can see right now, Daniel Mosteller putting into motion each and every time. He's trying to hit that apex as perfect as it gets. And this is when perfection becomes the big issue. You got to make sure that if you're on your A game up in front, you're doing absolutely whatever it takes. That's a big risk, and Schaefer's going to drop it down to the inside line, get by TJ Hanley, and the lap machine of Hanley now going to have to move for Mosteller, and TJ's going to go up high, gets right behind the number 87. Demos gets by, and so does Chase Schaefer, all at once. Now 16 laps to go, and you're going to see Schaefer going to make it around once again. He's got himself an advantage. It's now going to be a total of 1.2 seconds. Continuing to drop down a bit more lap after lap, and it could be under the 1 second range within the next 3 laps. That's how good Daniel Mosteller has been as of recent, cutting that time down more and more. It's going to be Demos making time, and Jacob Wilkerson stalled on the track, going to take it down a pit road, and that might just be his night. Schaefer's in the wall, that time by though, and Daniel Mosteller is going to be there too. Now, within 1 second, Demos making time and might find himself up ahead before 15 laps to go is concluded. And at the line there, Daniel Mosteller continues to gain more and more. 0.7 of a second separate he and Chase Schaefer. Schaefer going to stay wide through the first corner, and he's going to try to make anything out of the advantage he's got. Conklin comes back on the track 2 laps down, hoping to gain more time. Just like that, Conklin going to be fighting with James Thurston and River Page. Now, River has the third position. James Thurston does not. Thurston's going to be fourth right now. With 15 laps remaining, due to that Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport number 4 machine trying to make things happen and work it around the circuit. 15 laps left. Page in the wall once again, beats and bangs. And they're going to come through once more with even more trouble. As you see the drivers, even if you're in the front of the field, they're making contact with the wall every other lap, it seems. Some guys going to be able to make it clean through most corners, other guys not so much, and the minor contact continues to beat down on these cars. And River Page has some visible damage. You'll see on the front end, his right side is all beat up, and that's a result, of course, of playing riskier with that racing line. And he continues to do so no matter what. So River Page going to try to find another opportunity once again. And Chase Schaefer leads the way here, and he's going to come across the stripe. Still advantageous if he can just hold off with a 4/10 gap. Right behind is still Daniel Mostello. And coming across the line now with only 14 laps to go, Chase Schaefer has the advantage. He's going to come up on Gabriel Goli. Goli's a lap machine who scored now in 9th. He'll go 1 lap down, and that's going to put another driver out of contention. Jacob Wilkerson's going to disconnect as well, so Conklin's going to move up into 12th here, and all the attrition of the field has given him an opportunity to maybe fight for a top 10, as only now 12 drivers are in the field, and only 8 of which are on the lead lap. Next man who's going to be involved in the lap machine, of course, moments are going to be Oliver Quinney. He's going to be 1 minute and 17 seconds down, but it's now only a gap of 0.3 of a second between Mosteller and Chase Schaefer. Schaefer, minor advantage that time by, comes gunning down the straight. He's got Demos right there, and just like that in 213 Simware, Chevrolet continues the motion, but still can't get enough. Drive around this time by. It's going to be the top 2 drivers out in their own world. 8 seconds back is going to be River Page, and Oliver Quinney with continuous trouble loses even more time. Now he's within 5 seconds of being put 1 lap down as your leaders come by once again. Quinney is not safe in the slightest. Hits the wall once more, continues to beat and bang, and like he did before, he hits the wall, hits the tire barrier almost. This kid cannot keep it out of the wall, and a lot of drivers having that trouble, but right now for Quinney, he does not want to get involved in the leaders' battle. Hits the wall once again. He's got no suspension. No way he's going to have a chance to even make the next corner. And now Schaefer going to have to worry about that as well. Inside the cockpit for Schaefer, what's the call? Tire smoke early? And no way. It's going to be Quinney making it into the tire wall, gets away from the leaders, and Demos makes it straight too. They're going to be nearly side by side, defense way up top. Leaders get by another lapper, and James Thurston comes down to pit road, this time by with 13 laps to go. Thurston's in, and Schaefer now sees Demos in the bottom. This might be it. Big move down low, and sweep into the bottom. Demos instead lets the number 99 go by and lets him continue to wear out his stuff. Just like that, Schaefer's going to have the edge. Take a look at the back bumper now. It's minimal, but he's still got just enough to hold on, at least for the time being. You can see now the gap, as small as it is, continues to give us a great battle. 13 laps to go here in Chicago, and the drivers keep on fighting. Daniel Mosteller right there, going to see himself fade a bit back even further. Chase Schaefer, Daniel Mosteller, first and second now, 0.5 of a second separate your top 2 drivers. Then it's going to be River Page about 10 seconds back, and even though Page has not been able to get himself in the conversation, he's still there, and it's a chance if there's a mistake up in front. If push comes to shove, there's still an opportunity. That is, of course, always possible. And Oliver Quinney continues the beat and bang fest as he once again makes some big contact and goes through pit road. And it looks like he's going to get into the tire wall. He has to come down to pit road eventually. He'll drive down low this time by. He's going to take 1 driver with him. Looks like Michael Cormetis. Mikey comes in, and with 12 laps to go, that time through, it's going to be Michael Cormetis, Oliver Quinney coming in at once, and tire strategy now coming into play. Fuel strategy in play as well. And even though we have not seen a yellow flag, some drivers certainly need one, as you see continuous troubles for drivers such as Oliver Quinney, who beat and banged every corner at least twice over. And now with a dozen to do it, it's going to be Schaefer and Mosteller still fighting up ahead. 29 laps in out of 40. That's the way they stay. So far, so good. And it's only going to be now 12 laps to go with continuous battle, switching up and down the order. High sign, low side. They've been first and second respectively. Demos hasn't found his way around just yet. but there's still a chance if it all comes down to it.
This took 2 days ago.
And just like that, Chase Schaefer going to lead the way. Daniel Mosteller second, River Page third, and James Thurston in fourth. Michael Cormetis going to be fifth, and Braxton Whitaker sixth. And it looks like some driver communication going to be catching up with us here. As you'll see, drivers certainly going to be frustrated. We'll make sure the iRacing voice chat is off. Tell you this much, though, Henry Caloff is now going to be in eighth. He's made up some big time. Goldie's ninth, Oliver Quinney is 10th, and then TJ Hanley is in 11th. And now Chase Schaefer comes down to pit road. Daniel Mosteller going to be second. Guys continuing to make it in the pit road this time by 11 laps remaining. And just like that, pit road going to become busy once again. Pit road gets active. Cormetis going to beat and bang with the wall. And tell you this much, with 11 laps to go, we'll take it for another crank it up here in Chicago as things keep on moving. 11 laps left. And coming around now with 9 laps remaining, coming back after our second crank it up of the day, Daniel Mosteller leads from Chase Schaefer, James Thurston, then in fourth. River Page is going to be right there with them. Michael Cormetis still rounds out the top 5, and still as pit cycles continue, Demos now has the advantage, but the lead battle is still as close as it gets. And you've been watching up in front as Demos is continuing to slowly but surely pull that gap away, and it's only a matter of time before one of these drivers, of course, comes out the other end as a race winner. Gabriel Goldie comes down to pit pit road this time by Oliver Quinney right there as well. And with Quinney being 10th place, he finds himself now 2 laps down. Gabriel Goldie's 1 down. Henry Kaloff 1 down as well. And with 1 minute and 3 seconds behind your leader, Brandon Dugan, it's going to be in 7th. And I'll tell you this much right now, Dugan's going to be right within the range of Braxton Whitaker, because Braxton comes down to pit road. This is final pit stop of the day, and the long green flag run gives way to another driver coming in for the final time. Braxton's in this time through. Daniel Mosteller leads from Chase Schaefer then 2nd, and James Thurston is in 3rd. River Page going to be 4th place right now. Michael Cormetis rounds out the top 5, 9 laps to go, and that's the way they stay right now. Top 5 separate by 20 seconds, and then you have to go back 44 more to get to Brandon Dugan, who has still not come down to pit road. So Dugan's in substantial trouble right now. 15 seconds back from that's going to be Braxton Whitaker. Now with 8 to go, Henry Kaloff is then going to be, of course, now 1 lap down. So position number 8 held by Kaloff right now in the final stretch, and Mosteller continues to stretch the gap now. Demos at a 1.5 second edge. Just like that, it's going to be Thurston now fighting with River Page. Thurston's got the advantage for the first time in a while here, and just like that, it's going to be Thurston on the podium, and it's going to be River Page a little further behind. River Page comes through this time by with 8 laps to go, and you see that right side damage continue to exacerbate itself, and it looks like more and more the damage is going to slow him down as the race goes on. 8 laps remaining here, and you'll see Michael Cormetis is going to be 5th, Brandon Dugan 6th, Braxton Whitaker 7th, and Henry Kaloff then in 8th. Gabriel Goldie's position number 9 right now, and that as they stand, only 12 drivers on the track. I can tell you this much, TJ Hanley has had some trouble too. He's on pit road right now, and he's continuing to work that car despite some troubles. He's there waiting to get back on the way with Sean Conklin 3 laps down, and Conklin will let so many laps before his disconnection, now in huge trouble. Mosteller comes around this time by with Chase Schaefer 2nd, James Thurston 4th, and River Page is going to be in that 4th spot. 33 laps in, 8 laps to go. Make it 7 this time by, and it's going to be a lucky night and perhaps for Daniel Mosteller. First off, Sean Conklin's big disconnection gives way to anyone else having a chance, and now working the strategy just right to catch up to Chase Schaefer and trying to build a gap as lap machines are right ahead. Whitaker is going to be there. He's still in the lead lap right now, but barely. And then you also have guys like Gabriel Goldie, who's going to be behind this, but Oliver Quinney is still smoking up the tire. And even Sean Conklin, now the lapper, is putting up good laps inconsistently. And Braxton Whitaker now getting passed there by Conklin right down low. Gabriel Goldie's not going to be in the mix anymore, and Oliver Quinney fades back too as the leaders clash with the lap drivers once again. Mosteller leads on Chase Schaefer 2nd, and James Thurston in 3rd. That's the way they stay. Now with some huge troubles way back there, you're also going to see Daniel Mosteller get by as Conklin's got contact and makes more contact indeed. John Conklin getting in the wall with Braxton Whitaker. No caution comes from it. 2 lappers. And the call, nothing just yet. 7 laps to go. They will stay green as it's going to be Conklin parking it. These are 2 lap machines. Keep that in mind. And now Sean waits, gets the chance. Henry Kaloff drives back out. And it's now going to be Michael Cormetis right into it. And the caution flies as a result. Michael Cormetis drove right into Sean Conklin, and that brings out the caution either way. And the yellow flag will fly as a result. Michael Cormetis is going to go hitting Sean Conklin. Now Conklin is going to be the start of that wreck. And we'll see a bit more in depth here as Conklin is hit by Braxton Whitaker, and the lap machine get involved first. Then you'll see the rest of it here and how Michael Cormetis opts to go right into it as he needed a big opportunity to maybe get back to the leaders. This might just be it, despite the damage. And there's nowhere to go for Cormetis. Did not expect to see him on the higher side. Expected to dodge there, and that's going to be a call for Michael Cormetis. That's going to be a big mistake. With 6 laps to go now, heading down slowly but surely in the last dash. We might just see 3 laps of racing, if not less. Bring it back live on FTN here. Time is running out. It's going to be Daniel Mosteller, Chase Schaefer, James Thurston. Their top 3 right now is River Page in 4th, and Michael Cormetis then in 5th. That's the way they keep it coming here as the pace car flies down. And it might be a final pit run here in addition to what we've already seen. So things are going to be changing as they come around this time by with 6 laps left. As the field goes through, Mosteller had such a big advantage as a result of his strategy calls in the night, and on the 5-lap tire run, he doesn't have much to worry about in terms of his tire set. Some drivers, though, might have the call to come down to pit road this time around. Now, it's going to be risky, of course, because we have not seen many differences between tires over long runs and short runs alike. Now, Mosteller run is, of course, quickest lap in the most recent stint, a 125.918. That's as fast as by a long shot here, and the fastest of the session. Even outdoing Sean Coughlin's best work after his reconnection, which makes you wonder, what can these guys do if they choose to come down to pit road for some tires? We'll find out very soon if that's the decision to be made. Not. Take it to one more Fireball Talks nonstop before we get back going once again. Mosteller, Schaefer, Thurston, first, second, and third as it stands, and they'll come now with 6 laps to go, heading to 5, which should be the final restart of the day. Race summary at this point will go to show you. We've had so far Conklin in the wall, and Sean Conklin just ends up in the barrier. As you see there, he's going to find himself destroyed once again. Shows Sean Conklin with some trouble, opts to come down to pit road under your third caution, and the rest of the field says otherwise, and they will keep themselves on track. Five laps to go. It's going to be Daniel Mosteller, Chase Schaefer, and James Thurston. First, second, and third. 5 laps left indeed. And with this time that we've got right now before the racing gets back on the way, we'll show you our Fireball Talks nonstop segment of the night. And we have ourselves our third caution here in Chicago. We'll be right back after this one here live on FTN. Fireball Talks nonstop with some brief promotional breaks with all our partners that help us bring these broadcasts to you night after night. We'll be right back after this one live on FTN. This is Fireball Talks nonstop, and we'll return after these messages.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
And coming back to now, 5 laps remaining, set to go down 4 laps on the board. It's been a great Grant Park Grand Prix, and we're going to come down with a 3-lap dash to wrap off the night. Tell you this much, Daniel Mosteller knows he's had the pace all night long to get this win, just hasn't done so to this point. It's going to be Mosteller, Schaefer, Thurston, first, second, and third as it stands. 4 laps to go, and the NASCAR signs hanging right above the drivers here with 4 laps left. And I'll tell you this much, as we always say here in FTN, a special offer if you want to find out more about the NASCAR world and iRacing as a whole. Check out the official NASCAR newsletter, the one-stop shop for all of your sim racing information. No matter what you need, they've got it there. If you want to find out more about the professional ranks, such as the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, where drivers fight for a share of a $300,000 prize pool, $100,000 go to the overall champion. If you want to find out about that, or registering as a driver at iRacing.com, and all of the information you'd like to need to go alongside that. You'll find it all in the NASCAR newsletter provided to you in cooperation with iRacing. Well, thank you all for supporting us all throughout the night here in FTN, and we'll bring you back to the action here with 4 laps remaining. Stellar, Schaefer, Page, first, second, and third as we come through this time by, and time to get things going once again as the iRacing official pace car lets him get back at it, double file this time through, and he'll be ready to race. 3 more laps. 12 drivers remaining on the field, only 7 drivers are going to be on the lead lap, last of which is Henry Kaloff, getting his lap back, rest of the field at least 1 lap down, so it's been some troubles overall for the majority of these guys. The rest of the field, not so much, of course. However, that's a small amount compared to the big majority that have fallen at least 1 behind the leader. Now, we've had multiple retirees, that is known. However, now, the question is whether or not the guys who are up ahead will have a chance to keep it there, or if it's going to be a few guys, maybe Page, maybe Thurston, getting a chance to jump in and find themselves in the lead battle as well. This time by 4 laps to go as the iRacing official pace car will let the field get right back at it. Time to see whether or not James Thurston has what it takes. If River Page could do it, if Braxton Whitaker can come away with a shock podium or victory, we could see underdogs making it through. Right now, it looks to be a Daniel Mosteller win if he can just hold on for 3 more laps. But as they come through next time by, next turnaround for a restart zone run, anyone in the lead lap still has a chance. Coming through this time by to finish off our final pacing lap, potentially of the night. It'll be Daniel Mosteller, Chase Schaefer in second, and River Page in third. 1, 2, 3. Here they go again. What could be the final restart of the night gets us back rolling with 3 laps to go. Back on the way with Mosteller leading on the move, the 87 machine. Daniel Mosteller going to be able to take that race lead with Chase Schaefer then in second, River Page in third. That's the one right now in the podium. Mosteller still has that advantage, and 3/10 back is Schaefer there in the number 99. River Page going to hold on right in the back of this frame, and you'll see Thurston right there. 2, 3 laps to go, and they come across and go down the straightaways. 87 machine gets up to speed of over 150 miles an hour. Take a look at telemetry right now to see what's going on in specific. Getting as low as about 53 miles an hour, then getting power right back down. That's the difference between the turns here in the straightaways in Chicago. It's a substantial difference. I mean, Daniel Mosteller right now kicking it through the gears. Second gear right now, switching it back up to third. He gets it through for another shift at about 100 miles an hour. And this telemetry goes to show that it goes into being quick and just about perfect each and every time by. And it's going to be Thurston right there behind River Page as Jay Schaefer touches the wall once, twice, nearly 3 times over. And the 87 machine will come around this time by, nearly banging the wall once again. Coming down now with only a total of 2 laps remaining. 2 laps to go this time by in Chicago. And it's going to be Schaefer going down to the inside line, getting the lunge into turn 1, and he's going to destroy himself. Huge bang there for Thurston. Page in the wall as well. And that could be the winning move for Daniel Mosteller. He played it safe, let them go around him, and just like that, it's a new man on the top of the board with 2 laps to go. It's Daniel Mosteller leading, Chase Schaefer in second, and James Thurston in third. Cormetta's going to be fourth, and River Page in fifth. Braxton Whitaker then position number 6. 2 laps to go, and just like that, Mosteller's got the lead. Schaefer's going to be the runner-up man, at least for now, as Cormetta's gets loose. Gives way to potential for River Page as Page comes down the straight. All the same, Michael Cormetta's going to be fourth right now, the number 25 machine, and James Thurston is there in third. Schaefer's going to be second. Mosteller's the leader, and the Chevy Camaro up in front now has that advantage by 1.3 seconds. Only has to make it around just over a lap and a half's distance. This is the home stretch. For all intents and purposes, it's do or die right now for Daniel Mosteller. If he wants to get it done, 1 more clean lap. Chase Schaefer will have to go as hard as he can for any chance at the win. It's slim now. It might not be enough. Mosteller leads the way as they come around into our restart zone. Coming down to the start-finish line, white flag waving. 1 lap to go. This time by for Daniel Mosteller. They come around once more. white flag indeed. The final lap here in Chicago, and it's going to be Mosteller still leading over Chase Schaefer. The advantage for Schaefer, it's dissipated in terms of being in second here, as you'll see James Thurston on the back bumper, and with Thurston right there, it's going to be the number 4 machine making time, and you'll look for the rear end of Thurston, and nobody behind him. Right now up ahead, that number 99, he's got his sights set on the runner-up spot. The battle for second continues with white flag flying here in Chicago. Daniel Mosteller leads the way and has him there about half a lap to go. And number 99 machine has no choice but to keep on defending here for second. The chances of getting up to that lead, slim to none. Now you got to understand your situation, where you are as a driver, and not go over your reach. And that's exactly what these two drivers are doing, fighting with James Thurston fighting for second with Schaefer. Now Michael Cormetis drops down low on Page, goes down to the bottom, and Rivers going to be sent way high. Nothing he can do as Mosteller finds himself now in the final segments of the circuit. But Daniel Mosteller having to fight at the front of the field all night long, seeing connection trouble from one rival and strategy the biggest factor from there. This number 87 machine might have not been the road course favored, but as he comes around this time by to take the checkered flag, it will be Daniel Mosteller's victory in the Grant Park Grand Prix. Checkered flag for Demos as he wins in Chicago. It's Mosteller first, Schaefer and Thurston destroyed second and third, and Michael Cormetis and Page also killed immediately thereafter. It's going to be Daniel Mosteller, your winning driver, as the checkered flag flies, and just like that, the 87 wins it here from the Chicago Street Course. Quick run through your results before he's going to begin the celebration. It's Demos winning from Schaefer in second, and River Page going to come home in fifth. In between Schaefer and Page, James Thurston third, and Michael Cormetis is in fourth. River Page is fifth, as we mentioned, with Henry Kaloff sixth, and Braxton Whitaker, the final man on the lead lap. Then going to be Gabriel Ngoli 1 lap down in eighth, Oliver Quinney in ninth, and Brandon Dugan in 10th. From there on out, it's going to be 11th place occupied by Sean Conklin, TJ Hanley 12th, Jacob Wilkerson is going to be in 13th, with Alexander Schumacher in 14th. Top 15 is rounded out by Michael Deitch with Will Shack 16th, Joseph Armstrong 17th, and Landon Gentry, the final driver, 18th, 35 laps down. And now time for Mosteller to continue the celebration here, slowly but surely getting the drift on through the corners. Comes down the front stretch. It's time to party for a second win on the season. Mosteller comes around to the front straightaway and begins to burn down the house after a dominant victory in the final stages, where it mattered the most. Demos gets it done, and the party begins. And just like that, the motor blows to finish off the celebration for Daniel Mosteller, winning here from the virtual Chicago Street Course. The number 87 gets it done, finds himself in victory lane, and the checkered flag falls for the number 87, winning here from the Grant Park Grand Prix. Demos gets it done and wins for the second time this season, the first of which at a road course. And tell you this much, with a win in mind, 10 laps led all throughout the end. Demos gets it done and comes through here in the Chicago Street Course. Getting it done for the second time this season, win number 2. How do you feel back in victory lane after the twists and turns at the street course?
I feel really good. I did not think I was going to get that done after lap 5 getting into the wall. But we got all that damage fixed, and then I fought my way back up to the field. Eventually got up to second, and me and Chase had a really good battle there at the end. Final 10 laps, and that was probably the most fun I've had on a road course in a while. It was aggressive but clean racing. I eventually got by him, but I clobbered the wall when I made the pass, and the car was definitely damaged. I could feel it. It was really hard on the left-handers. But we were cruising there. I think I would have held him off if it stayed green, but in typical IORA fashion, we get that late race yellow. Lappers played a factor. It was unfortunate because I think he could have gotten back around me with the damage I had, but that extra restart, it made it a little harder, but we brought home the checkered flag.
And getting the win all the same. I'll tell you this much, strategy late in the going saw you and Chase Schaefer, and as you mentioned, a fantastic battle till the end. So how was it trying to work with Schaefer there, as he was quick as ever tonight, and you were able to step up your game to stay right with him and even pass him by?
Yeah, my plan was to pit before him. I saw Thurston pit. I don't know if he had damage or if it was just a strategy thing, but I wanted to pit as early as possible, but not get into traffic. And I saw everybody on the lead lap that had pit behind me, so I was gonna pit. But Chase, I think he had the same idea, because right when I was pulling in, he brought it to pit road. We both took the same amount of fuel. We came off nearly side by side, which that was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun. It's good to get another win. It's unfortunate Conklin had those internet troubles. He was the class of the field. I feel like maybe if I could have had some track position as the run went on, I think I could have given him a run for his money. But yeah, these IOR races are crazy. Yeah.
And the chaos here in the IORA Cup Series, as I mentioned, keeps on kicking. Our first trip here to the Chicago Street Course, and you come home with the victory all the same. Up next on the schedule, then going to be Bristol for 200 laps. How's it going to be going to the last great Coliseum immediately after this big road course night?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. When I was off tracking last season, 2 tires definitely meant a lot on late race restarts. So I feel like that's going to, if we get another late race restart, just like tonight, I feel like that's going to be a strategy some people are going to pull. Bristol, I have a okay history there. I feel like, with the next-gen car, I'm not the best on it, but you never know. I didn't really think I would win this race, but, circumstances fell into my favor. So, we'll see next week, but right now I'm going to focus on the win here tonight.
And getting it done here tonight, as you mentioned, Daniel Mosteller getting it done at the Grant Park Grand Prix. Anything else you'd like to add after this race win?
I want to thank you for broadcasting. Thumbnail Car 1, everybody watching back at home, everybody that races in this league. Mason for off-tracking and doing a great job owning the league. Pretty good car count again for a road course. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to go and try to go back-to-back at Bristol.
And getting it done, as you mentioned, Daniel Mosteller back on top here in the IORA Cup Series. The 2-time champion gets his second win here in the Chicago Street Course. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Amadimos on the move, the second-place driver, Chase Schaefer, gave him a run for his money, leading 9 laps of his own. And these 2 drivers splitting up the final 20 laps of the day. Chase Schaefer getting it done in the second place. How you feeling after a runner-up night here in the Chicago Street Course?
I'm feeling alright. I wish I could have won the race, obviously, but we just made too many mistakes, and we didn't have pace towards the end of the race to hold off Demos. But it was a very good run by Demos. Very happy that he won, and that we didn't get clobbered on a late race restart, because that was our number 1 fear. So yeah, good win for Demos.
And getting it done, of course, with you 2 drivers putting on the great show after Sean Conklin disconnected. How was it like, of course, getting that chance for the race for the win, even if it looked like it was so unlikely to begin?
Repeat that? I'm sorry.
Well, of course, how was it like after Sean Conklin disconnecting, getting the chance to go for a win, even though it looked so unlikely to begin with?
That's going to be interesting to see with points. I'm going to be real. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like, just because that's going to be very nice for me. But yeah, that was a whole interesting deal, because he was definitely going to be winning that race if nothing happened and he didn't make any mistakes, which for a while it was looking so. But yeah, things happened.
And things happen to bring you back on the podium after a win in Atlanta. Good momentum for the past few weeks, and Bristol is going to be another chaotic night up next at a short track. Maybe there's a chance to go for 3 consecutive podiums in a row.
Hopefully. I don't know. Bristol's always usually chaotic, so we'll have to see about that one. But yeah, hopefully we can make something, get something done. But if not, we've had a good little run too, so we're just gonna have to keep on executing if we want a chance at the championship.
And hoping to keep the execution strong. Chase Schaefer, second place finish on the night with 9 laps led. Anything else you'd like to add?
Just follow my Twitter, Monster Designs _. But thank you for the broadcast.
And there we have it. Chase Schaefer, second place on the day here in the Chicago Street Course. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
But Chase Schaefer back on the move. One more driver inside our podium. Of course, third place finisher James Thurston. Didn't lead a lap tonight, but still quick in the road courses as always. Rounds out the podium. How do you feel after this one?
Yeah, that was a kind of undeserved podium. Well, not really undeserved because I drove my butt off to get here, but I don't know. I don't like this track. I wasn't really all that fast here compared to the leaders, but yeah, it's a good enough finish. It's gonna be good for points. Just kind of wish I would have been, a little bit quicker out there, but yeah, this isn't really a track that I put a lot of time into to get good at. So it's just a good finish we can be, happy with.
And getting that solid points run, even if it isn't the race win, keeps you in the fight up in front. And as we mentioned, we've seen you good at road courses before, but Chicago, a different element. So what's it going to take as a result of this one to keep on going with some good runs in mind?
We're just gonna have to be quicker. I think we're gonna be a lot quicker at the races coming up than this one. But yeah, we just gotta be up front, stay up front, and finish up front. And if we can just do that, I think we're gonna do really well.
And hoping to stay up in front, Bristol up next. But for James Thurston, a podium finish here in the Chicago Street Course brings him through third place on the night. Anything else you'd like to add after this one?
Thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports, and yeah, let's go get the next one.
And looking to chase after the next race, it could be a win opportunity as Thurston brings it home to round out the podium here in the Grant Park Grand Prix. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And just like that, with James Thurston on the way, the final man on the podium gets it done. It's James Thurston third on the night, and then from there, you're going to see Chase Schaefer second, and to win it all, Daniel Mosteller, second win of the season, gets it done here in Chicago. Got to thank y'all for watching live on FTN. We're just getting started, of course, the Highliner Racing League in about a half hour's time, and another thrilling race coming with you at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'd hope to have you there. As always, I've been your commentator and producer for tonight's event, David Kreutz. But a fun race, and if you enjoy the action, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank y'all for once again on FTN. Hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. If you did, we'd hope to have your direct support on the YouTube channel. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed this event, the IORA Cup Series and the Grant Park Grand Prix, and we hope to see you all whenever we're live again on FTN. Thank y'all for your immense support this season, and we'll see y'all later in the night. 9:35 Eastern, Highliner Racing League begins. We're not done just yet, but either way, we hope y'all have a fantastic Thursday night.